Hey, I'm Matt, and thanks for clicking on another Mr. Maple video.
And I'm Tim, and we appreciate you watching this video. I hope that these videos give you confidence in growing Japanese maples. Today we've got a question that people ask us all the time. What size pot do I grow my Japanese maple in?
Yeah, we've got a couple examples laid out here today. We're going to talk a little bit about how we upsize plants, and by no means do we expect you to use a black nursery pot on your deck or patio, but it's going to give you some basic size comparisons of what we like to do when upsizing Japanese maples.
This is really important, so I really hope you enjoy this video. Please like this video, share it with your gardening friends. Make sure you're subscribed to our Mr. Maple YouTube channel so you know when our new videos come out. And as always, make sure you're subscribed to our weekly emails on mrmaple.com. We had 10 new fun, exciting trees every Tuesday at 10 a.m. That's something you'll definitely want to check out.
Hey, we really hope these videos are helping you in your Japanese maple growing and other plants as we add tons more content on here. If you're enjoying these videos, there's two ways to reward us. One, you can shop on mrmaple.com. We like that one a lot. But also, you can always support us by sharing this with your gardening friends. So wherever you share videos on Facebook or any platform that you like to share videos, share this with some people that you think this may be informative to and may help them in their future growing of Japanese maples.
Japanese maples are really important on selecting which size pot you put your Japanese maple in. If you had this liner Japanese maple, you don't want to take it straight to this 10-gallon size. You don't want to take it straight to a big pot. Japanese maples like to be stepped up incrementally. And if you go too large of a pot, your plant's going to focus on a lot of root growth. You're not going to get a lot of top growth. And it doesn't make really that much better of a root system for the plant. Japanese maples like to have a little bit of tightness whenever you upsize into the next size pot.
So the first thing I always like to emphasize when selecting a pot for a Japanese maple is good drainage. You want to make sure you have good drainage. That's paramount. That's more important than pot size. It's more important than every other decision, is making sure if you're going to go with a Japanese maple in container that it has good drainage. I had someone the other day, we were talking about not having the saucer below your plant that holds water because it decreases the drainage. And a person was telling me that they like to grow them with a saucer pot because they like the pot, but what they do is they cut holes in it too. So they go ahead and cut a whole bunch of holes in that saucer if it's already built in. So be conscious of that drainage. That's forefront. But after that, what Tim was talking about is when we're bumping Japanese maples up, we slowly increase that pot size. And by doing so, we're gonna get the best root development. So we start out with two basic sizes here at our nursery. And I've picked one, maybe it'll get your heart flowing a little bit if you like the Makawi Etsubusa styles. This is a red panda. It's a very bright red to dark maroon late Makawi Etsubusa style that we've collected here at our nursery and named. And we're calling that one Red Panda. So we have a couple different size liner pots here at our nursery. This is a basic Anderson band. We often use this style pot as well. And both work pretty good for what we're starting them out at. We're grafting into these typically. And so this is about a 2-year-old graft or maybe a year-old graft. It's already grown into this liner pot really well. It's got a good set of roots and it's ready to be potted up to the next size. So here at our nursery, when we're potting these up, we actually take these to typically our trade 1-gallon size. Now, for example, this pot is about 7 inches tall by about 6 to 7 inches wide, I think. And they're a smaller overall pot, but it's gonna make a good area for that root expansion without going too large.
If you go too large, one, you'll start to have a drainage issue versus your other plants in that size pot. And two, the plant will focus all on root growth, which sounds good at first, but you get nothing from the top.
Yeah, it slows that top growth down a good bit. So if you put them into a gigantic planter, it certainly can be done. So if you have a planter that you love and your heart's set on putting it into a large planter and you've got the right drainage on it, it can be done. But it will slow down the growth rate. As Tim said, those roots are going to expand. They're going to kind of hit the sides of that pot, and you're going to get lesser growth on the top at first. By putting it into a slightly incrementally larger pot, then letting those roots fill out completely in that 1 gallon, you're going to gradually step that up. Those roots are going to expand much faster in comparison to the top. So you're actually going to push some growth out of the top of your Japanese maple, where if we went straight with this even into our 10 gallon size here?
7 here, you're right.
7, that's going to be a much slower growth rate. It certainly can be done, but it's just going to slow down everything in that process, where if we step it up incrementally, you're going to get much better overall growth and a growth to the top of the tree that is in
balance with the bottom.
Balance with the bottom, exactly. It's going to have a more proportionate growth rate to the top.
And it's all about choosing that next pot size. So if you were dealing with a 3-gallon, you'd want to step it up to something about a 7-gallon size. If you're dealing with a 7-gallon size, something about that 10-gallon size would be a great place to step it up with. If you notice, you want to step it up incrementally. You don't want to jump from one to another. When you do that, you're just going to make, like Matt said, too much root growth and not enough balance to the plant.
Yeah, these are typically the steps we make at our nursery. Sometimes we'll go from a 1 or a liner into a 2-gallon and have another step here in the process. But we don't go from a 1 or a liner to a 3-gallon because it just slows the overall process down. And we just get a more quality plant when those roots are more in harmony with the top growth.
And so what we're dealing with here is a pot that's, like Matt said, is about 6 to 7 inches tall and wide. Switching to one that's about 13 inches wide, to one that's about 15 inches wide, to one that's about 17 to 18 inches wide, maybe 20.
Yeah, and it's a good way to compare. You know, a lot of people ask, will this patio planter work? And the honest answer is yes. I mean, 9 times out of 10, the answer is yes.
As long as you've got good drainage. And like Matt talks about, the drainage is essential and is key. If you get the drainage filled out, almost any of the pots will work. But like Matt said,
yeah, a lot of our ones are well established. You know, we could have brought a 1-gallon up here that was finished, but we started out with a liner here. Our 1-gallons, typically our uprights are going to be in that 12 to 18 inches kind of range, and they're perfectly sized to go into a 3. You could even take most of our ones straight into a 5 or 7-gallon size range and be fine. But you don't want to be jumping straight into some enormous pot. You're just going to get a better overall growth rate and a healthier plant when you got that harmonious relationship with the roots in the top.
And when you're choosing a Japanese maple container, like Matt said, if it only has one pot hole in the bottom, add some gravel in that. We can do a whole video later on how to grow a Japanese maple in a container, which is a really important thing. But whenever you're doing that, put a thin layer of gravel on the bottom to increase drainage flow through that one hole if you only have one hole. I can't reiterate that enough.
Yeah.
Drainage is key.
Hey, thanks for watching our quick video on what size pot should I select for my Japanese maple. We hope this was informative to you and you learned something about it. And if it helped you at all, share it with your gardening friends. So as always, comment and share. That works great. Sign up for our weekly emails on Mr. Maple. You may see a red panda on there at some point. We're still in the evaluation process of this one, but we hope you enjoyed this. As it gets into spring, we'll be maybe doing some cultivar analysis of some of our Area 51 plants too, so that'll be something to look forward to. We greatly appreciate you watching. God bless and have a great day. All you have to do to get involved in the giveaway is like, subscribe, and share our video. Then under every single video you want, you can go and comment, I dig Mr. Maple. And every single time you comment, you'll be entered to win a Mr. Maple hat. So we're going to be doing a giveaway for one of these hats. We're coming up on 8,000 subscribers. Get involved.